Hi, my name is Elizabeth. Welcome back to 50 Ways to Find Yourself. It's been a while since I made a video. Oopsies. I told myself over winter break that I would make at least one video per week because I would have so much free time. Obviously, I have not followed through on that, but that's okay. It's actually really relevant to today's topic. But first, I want to address this. For Christmas, I got a microphone. So hopefully the audio will be better, background noises will be less noticeable. When I do videos outside, you'll actually be able to hear me and the audio quality will be consistent. I also got a phone mount. I got a tripod and then a little phone stand so I can use both my hands while I talk in videos, which is exciting because I'm very much a hand talker. Um, but yeah, so I have some new things that hopefully will make my videos better, which I'm really excited about. So today is New Year's Eve. It's about 5 p.m., so it's a little bit before any big festivities begin. Also, I'm not sure that there will be many festivities today because the weather is pretty bad. So please, everybody, stay safe if you're driving anywhere. It's scary on the roads right now. But yeah, today is New Year's Eve. Um, and that's exactly what I want to talk about today. So, something that a lot of people do for New Year's Eve and have been doing for ages is making New Year's resolutions. And kind of a constant that comes up with New Year's resolutions is that they pretty much inevitably fail. Um, People give up or they find out that they're really not attainable, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's not like a personal or moral failing if your New Year's resolution just doesn't work out. You didn't do anything necessarily wrong if it doesn't work out. And I think that there are a couple different reasons why New Year's resolutions don't work out. Obviously, there's a big one of choosing things that are just too difficult to attain. I don't know. A lot of people set really specific weight loss goals. Like, okay, I want to lose this number of pounds this year. Or there was one year that I was like, I want to be fluent in these two languages by the end of the year. That's just not attainable. That's just not a realistic goal to have. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just not realistic. I think the second part of this is that New Year's resolutions often hinge on the idea of reinventing yourself and basically becoming a new person or becoming a new version of yourself. And I think that this is why so many New Year's resolutions inevitably fail. I think people realize, oh, it's effectively impossible to completely change who I am just because it's the beginning of a new year. It's effectively impossible to completely reinvent myself. And there's nothing wrong with this either. We can't realistically reinvent ourselves every year at some arbitrary beginning of the year date. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that the idea and the basis of a New Year's resolution is good. I think there's good in that. I think that we just need to reframe the way that we're doing it. We pick things that are too big and too unrealistic, and then we get frustrated when we're not following through, and then we give up. I think that's human. I don't think that that is indicative of any kind of moral or personal shortcoming. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, but I do think that there's a way that we could kind of set, resolutions without it being a resolution in the traditional sense, without it being something that is so easy to not follow through on. So today I want to talk about setting goals for New Year's instead of setting resolutions for New Year's. And you might be like, okay, well, what's the difference? And the difference is primarily semantic. It's there's not really realistically a huge difference between what I'm talking about, but let me explain it a little bit and then it'll make more sense. So, like I said, resolutions are things that are really big and tend to be kind of intended as a shift in oneself, a reinvention of oneself and who you are as a person. And is that a realistic thing? Not really. Um, and I think that goals would be a more realistic way to get the desired outcome of personal growth that people are usually striving for with New Year's resolutions. So I think that the idea of a goal is something that will improve your life, but not something that is like a huge internal personal change. Like picking out something good and deciding, okay, I want to do more of that. Or, okay, I want to get back into this thing I used to like. Instead of, okay, I want to become a completely different person by May. Because that's nobody's going to actually do that realistically. For example, one of my goals for this year is to keep working on this series. I decided to set that as a goal and not a resolution because initially I was like, okay, I should make a New Year's resolution to finish my series. And then I thought about it a little bit and I was like, well, if my resolution is to finish my series, I think I'm just going to stress myself out and I'm going to end up inevitably giving up and not finishing my series because I'm just stressing myself out. So clearly, that's not a helpful framework for working on this series, which is something that I enjoy. So I said instead, okay, my goal for this year is to continue working on this series. I don't care how many episodes I get to. I don't care if I finish it. I don't care if I don't finish it. I just want to continue working on it and continue enjoying it. And I think that's a much healthier framework than a resolution of I need to get it done. I think another example of this, not so much a personal example, but another example of this would be the fact that often resolutions are things like I want to lose X amount of weight or I want to go to the gym X amount of times per week. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But if you currently aren't doing anything to lose weight or aren't going to the gym a certain amount of times per week, that is going to feel really overwhelming and it's going to set you up for failure. So, a more realistic goal as opposed to a resolution would be I just want to live a healthier lifestyle. I want to eat better. I want to go to the gym sometimes. Not that, okay, by this time I have to have lost this much weight or I have to go to the gym this many times because that ends up making it stressful. And when something's stressful, it's not enjoyable and we don't want to do it. And when we don't want to do it, we don't follow through on doing it. But saying, okay, I want to live a healthier lifestyle. I want to eat better. I want to work out sometimes. I want to go for a walk now and then. Like, that is a much more realistic goal. And I think this is the thing. I think we kind of go all or nothing with resolutions. Initially, was like, I need to finish my series. And I think people are like, I need to lose this much weight, or I need to go to the gym this many times, or I need to start a business, or, whatever it may be. They're very black and white. And again, like, there's nothing wrong with this. But I think that kind of black and white goal, where it's kind of using a value judgment of, okay, I did this, so I'm good, and I'm good at following through, and I'm good at getting things done. I think that makes things much more difficult. If your resolution is, okay, if I do this, then I'm determined, I'm good at getting things done, and I'm a good person, versus if I don't do this, I'm a bad person and I can't follow through and I'm a quitter, it sets you up for failure. And that's obviously not a good thing. So I think that setting goals is a healthier, much more realistic way to continue or begin self improvement into a new year. When you're setting a goal, I think you're setting yourself up for something that's not quite as difficult to follow through on and is also not quite as like intrinsically valued. Like for me personally, if I make 3 or 4 videos throughout the next year, which I'm going to make more than that. But if I made 3 or 4 videos throughout the next year, I would have still accomplished my goal because my goal was just to work on my series. Whereas if my goal or resolution was to finish my series, if I only made 10 more videos, which is more than double what I said earlier, if I only made 10 more videos, I would have failed. And I would feel like I'm a failure. I couldn't get this done. I can't follow through. And that's not a healthy mindset to have. I think the issue with resolutions is that we set them to be too big, too difficult to follow through on, and too much of like a value judgment of like, okay, I can do this or I can't. And I don't think that that's healthy. And I think that we should go into a new year with a healthier mindset. So tonight, before midnight, or tomorrow, sit down and think of some things you want to accomplish throughout the year and set some goals. Don't set resolutions, set some goals. Now, obviously, this is my opinion, this is my advice. You do not have to follow it. There's nothing wrong with that. This is just what feels right for me. But if it resonates with you, sit down tonight or tomorrow, write down some goals for 2026, write down things that are attainable. Because if you set goals that are maybe attainable but highly unrealistic, you're going to end up beating yourself down. Set goals that you can accomplish, that you can follow through on, because that'll make the goal setting feel better. It'll make it easier throughout the year. So, write down some things you want to accomplish. For me, I want to continue working on this series. I want to graduate from college. Now that might seem like a big one, but I'm 1 semester away, so I should be good. But I want to graduate from college. I want to continue working my series. I want to be healthier. I want to move my body more. Not in a, okay, I need to go to the gym this many times or I need to go on this many walks per week or whatever. No, I want to move more. I want to eat better. And finally, I want to continue on my goal of finding myself, becoming a better version of myself without an end goal. There's no end goal for me. I'm never going to be the perfect version of myself, but I want to take every day to become a better version of myself. And yeah, so my word of advice for New Year's Eve is don't set resolutions, set goals. And I believe that you can accomplish whatever you set out to do. And I think that goals are an easier way to reach those accomplishments than resolutions. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. This one's a little bit of a long one, but I should have another one next week because I have something big in mind. So, please stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending your time with me, and I will see you next year. Bye.